talk about issues that's relevant to the black community in New York, where I live at, in Westchester County, and throughout the nation. I am, my profession, I'm a correction officer. 28 years working for the Westchester County Department of Correction. But I'm also been blessed to be a part of what we call black law enforcement activists. When people like Roger Abel and different people from NYPD that started the Guardians and the Grand Council of Guardians, Charles Billups, and different black law enforcement officers that were conscious-minded. I was mentored by them, and being part of these organizations, not just discussing police and community relationships, but discussing the issues that are in the black community, the issues that create crime and violence, the issues that affect black families, black women, and the mass incarceration of black men, not just in New York, but all over the globe. And in the process of discussing these issues and being vocal on police criminality, not police brutality, but police criminality, that almost an everyday occurrence in the black community, I started to look at the political process, because we could discuss that, we can march, we could do all that, but if our elected officials that represents our communities and the districts that are a majority black, if these elected officials are not passing proper legislation, only thing we doing is wearing out our Nikes, right? It's symbolism without substance, because we have to have legislation. So we wonder why cops never go to jail, right? They could violate policy, but violating policy is not a crime. So we have to match the legislation to the policy, and we have to address those issues. So what we were doing in Westchester is, from a grassroots level, is educating people on the issues. Not just police criminality, but whatever's going on in the black community, and creating a block of votes. So and holding our politicians accountable. And in that process, we said, okay, well, how do we get the information to the people, right? So we started a radio show called People Before Politics. Then we started a website called Black Westchester Magazine. Then we went to print, going out once a month. And in that, we empowered the people to talk to the issues, and we empowered ourselves, because then the politicians started looking. Because one thing to be on Facebook and social media is if you use it correctly, you could be controlled by social media, or you could control social media. And what we decided to do is control social media to continue to reach the masses throughout Westchester County and throughout New York State. But I think it's very important, as the flyer says, to have a black political agenda. See, because we put a lot of elected officials in, and then they forget about us. And then they don't come to our churches, they don't come to our organizations until around election day. Right? After November, when you put somebody in, when they get sworn in January, February, you should be having a meeting with them. Okay, we put you in. Here's our agenda. Let's pick out 3 that we could work together. Even though it's about 25 on the list, let's start off with 3. And how do we get that? How do we get these pieces of legislation passed? How do we look at proper policing in the black community? How do we look at training our officers properly, that they treat the people in the black community that pay their taxes, that pays the police officers' salaries, right? We have to make sure that they respect the people that they police. So in that process, you sit down with these elected officials. If they don't do it, you vote them out. See, we always play, we always play soft hand with politicians. And then just because they're black, we want to give them the pass. Let's not give our black elected officials a pass. We need to stop that. We've been doing that. We've been spoiling black elected officials in New York State and everywhere else. Like, everybody's hyped about Kamala Harris, right? And just because she's black and she's a female. But check her record. She was one of the worst DAs and AGs and put black men in jail while she was there. That's right. But then we got different organizations jumping on the bandwagon and supporting her, but she put black men in jail. She broke up black families. You know, but we don't want to discuss that. And then when the mainstream media, you get the black people, they don't even want to discuss it. So we have to educate our people, and thank God for Bob to continue fighting the fight, man, and putting it out here so we can have these type of discussions. I could talk all day, so I'm going to stop right there.
Thank you.